You're listening to Materials Business, the podcast where engineering, leadership, and innovation meet diversity and inclusion. Hosted by Monica Hernandez, engineer, entrepreneur, and industry advocate. When we embrace different perspectives, we create stronger industries, smarter solutions, and lasting impact. Now, let's dive in.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when are you watching us. And thank you for being part of the material business community. My name is Monica Hernandez, and I am your host. And I have again Alec with us. We are recording today the third session of this series that we called Corrosion and AI, or AI and Corrosion. So if you haven't listened to the previous sessions, go and listen to them because it is really good fundamental information that will allow you to follow this podcast in a better way. Alec, thank you so much for being here again with us.
Wonderful. Thank you, Monica. Yes, I recommend listening to our two previous podcasts where I talked about myself. And however, to begin our meeting today, I will repeat some notes about my life and activity. I live in a small village in the Lower Galilee in Israel, 40 kilometers from Nazareth and 40 kilometers from Acre. And the distance above 10,000 kilometers from Vancouver, Canada, the place of Monica living. However, we with Monica feel that there are no distance and borders for us scientists and engineers. This is my working place in the garden with beautiful flowers where my wife and friend Olga grows these flowers, trees, bushes, and shrubs around. This is my email and website where you can read a lot about me, my work, and my activities. Our generation is a visual one, therefore I prepared this podcast as previous to, also with pictures and photos for better perception and understanding of discussed material. I have been dealing with stainless steel objects for all my career in corrosion subjects and materials, both in industry and academia. Without hesitation, I suggested talking about how people came from dream to reality with the application of stainless steel. However, many of the things engineers think they know about stainless steel aren't true. And I like to begin with the epigraph. Today, the epigraph motto is Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow, by Albert Einstein. Highlights today are simple as I like questions. Does stainless steel rust? Why has stainless steel so many kinds and names? And I hope you remember why I begin our conversation with questions. In order to begin our journey into the world of stainless steel, we should begin with the definition, as in all our previous podcasts too. Stainless steel is an iron-based alloy containing above 10.5% chromium and maximum 1.2% of carbon. Philip Monars, a German engineer, wrote in 1911 then about the relationship between chromium content and corrosion resistance of iron chromium steels. In the same 1911, my father, Alec Groysman, was born. And stainless steel is steel that does not corrode. It took about 20 years to prove that tenacious chromium oxide film was responsible for high corrosion resistance. Ulrich Richardson Evans, the father of corrosion science from United Kingdom in 1930s, proved this. This graph shows that when we add above 10.5% chromium to iron, the alloy does not corrode in a pure atmosphere. The 10.5% chromium rule is a threshold, not an optimum. At about 10.5%, steel can form a continuous chromium-203 passive film in air. That film is thin, 1.3 nanometers, and environment dependent. Can fail locally, beating crevice, stress corrosion cracking. The chromium rule says nothing about how corrosion will occur. This is a fabulous example of corrosion dialectics in philosophy of the German philosopher Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, the second law of the transformation of quantity into quality. Quantitative accumulation leads to qualitative transformation once a critical limit is crossed. And during my career, I coped with many legends and myths about stainless steel. Even the discovery of stainless steel is shrouded in myth. According to legend, stainless steel was discovered in 1913 by British metallurgist Harry Brearley when he noticed that some samples of an experimental alloy he was planning to throw away had not rusted after sitting on a shelf for several months. In fact, Brearley knew what he was doing. It had been known since the 18th that adding chromium to steel increased the corrosion resistance, and a number of inventors around the world had already developed materials that would be considered stainless steel today before 1930. A year before, in 1912, in 1912, a famous American metallurgist, Elwood Haynes, inventor and automotive pioneer and entrepreneur who founded the Haynes Stellite Company in the same 1912 year, created the same martensitic stainless steel. Brearley's main contribution was realizing that these steels could be used for table cutlery. It was Ernst Stewart, one of Brearley's associates in the cutlery business, who came up with the term "it stains less" stainless steel, thanks to Ernst Stewart. And then Harry Brearley, in 1941, wrote beautiful book, Not a String. This is autobiography about the invention of stainless steel. In the same year, 1912, two German metallurgists, Werner Strauss and Eduard Maurer, created austenitic stainless steel with the name Nie-Rosta, from the German nicht rostender Stahl, non-rusting steel. Let me share with you our Israeli joke regarding the names of stainless steel. A director of one plant invited a corrosion consultant to his plant and asked him, which kind of alloy do you recommend for this reactor? And consultant answers him, stainless steel 316. A director tells him, it's a pity that I didn't invite you a week before. We have just ordered Nie-Rosta. In the same 1912, two Americans, Christian Dunsizen and Frederick Beckett, invented ferritic stainless steel. Now I invite you and to decide who created stainless steel. We start our journey into the world of stainless steel, and from the first myth, all stainless steels are the same. There are about 300 types of stainless steel, which are divided into 5 groups according to crystallographic structure, where the first, this is ferritic with body-centered cubic, as you see. When adding nickel, austenitic with face-centered cubic is formed. Martensitic, this is body-centered tetragonal. Duplex, 50% ferritic plus 50% austenitic. and precipitation hardening, pH, and each type has its own properties. Don't confuse with pH of aqueous solutions. When I explain to chemical engineers, they are surprised that solid metallic solutions also have a pH. And now the term stainless steel is responsible for another myth, the belief that stainless steel does not rust. We may identify 15 corrosion phenomena that can occur with stainless steel: general corrosion, pitting, crevice, galvanic, intergranular, stress corrosion cracking, corrosion, erosion, and cavitation. And sometimes these stains are named tea staining, unsigned blotches. Wow! And we continue naming stainless steel. Then we continue sulfide stress corrosion cracking, corrosion fatigue, microbiologically influenced corrosion, hydrogen attack, high temperature corrosion or scaling, welding corrosion, gulling, cold welding, and rouge. Is this really stainless steel? This is rouge. I will talk a little bit more from rouge. Yes, this is also corrosion phenomena. Stainless steel is thus an oxymoron, like a true myth, or amazingly awful, in that it can stain, corrode, and rust under extreme atmospheric or contaminated environments. If people do not know under which conditions stainless steel is truly stainless, this can lead to catastrophic circumstances. Here is an example: formation of rust and pits caused by chloride attack on stainless steel 304 tubes at the reverse osmosis unit. After 2 years of service, the tank for the storage of hydrochloric acid was erected near this unit. Once a week, a truck with concentrated hydrochloric acid was unloaded. Certainly, HCl vapor flew away and reached stainless steel tubes. They condensed with water vapor on the surface of stainless steel tubes. You see the results after only 2 years. This is rust and pits with holes. The Anglo-American poet Winston Hugh Auden wrote in 1948 a beautiful poem, The Entropy Song. I like it, and let me share with you only one verse. From Big Bang to Bigger Boom, one thing just we can assume: universe, roulette, wheels, springs, spins, order losses, chaos wins. This is rarely that we obtain after corrosion of stainless steel. And rouge is the commonly used term for the visible corrosion product of stainless steel. It can be composed of several forms of iron oxides, with red ferric oxide being the predominant form, maybe orange, purple, blue, and black, Fe3O4. It can be due to iron contamination of the stainless steel to the surface due to welding of non-stainless steel for support clamps or other temporary means, which, when welded off, leaves a low chromium area. Rouging is a form of corrosion in stainless steel, namely a surface discoloration affecting stainless steel in pharmaceutical, food processing, semiconductor, and energy industry exposed to high purity water to clean steam, WFI, water for injection, and often cosmetic, need chemical cleaning and passivation. I compare rouge formed on stainless steel with Moulin Rouge in Paris and Red Mill Cabaret in Paris with beautiful at the Moulin Rouge by painter Henry de Toulouse-Lautrec. What does thermodynamics tell us about rouge? I like thermodynamics. It helps us to understand many things. And even yesterday, when I listened to Diana Miller from Oli Company, the previous wonderful podcast with Monica Hernandez, I enjoyed also that they used for their for creation of their different corrosion models. And I show you 5 possible corrosion reactions between iron and water. Calculations of Gibbs energy for this reaction show that for reactions, this energy are spontaneous because delta G is negative. But for this reaction, as you see, is positive. Therefore, this reaction cannot occur. As you can see, different oxides and hydroxide are formed with different colors: gray black, blue green, orange red, and black gray, exactly as parade of colors of Rouge. We can go further and calculate the entropy change for each reaction. For all 4 reactions, we see entropy change is positive. Entropy change is differential minus differential of delta G dt, the temperature. This means that increase of temperature results in increase of tendency of this for corrosion reaction, as delta G is lower with increase of temperature. Wonderful picture, correct? You may find all these calculations, such calculations and reasoning in my first book, Corrosion for Everybody. Many times I heard from people complained that their supplier has swindled them if a stainless pot shows signs of rusting. Once at my old refinery in Haifa, where I worked 22 years, engineers came and said wrong and said that they ordered the vessel from stainless steel 316. Please see what happened only after 2 weeks of its erection at oil refinery. Certainly, I checked. It was stainless steel 316. What happened? Often, when stainless steel appears to be rusting, it has actually been contaminated with carbon steel particles, which rusts, of course. The secret is to fabricate the stainless steel in a dedicated area and make sure there is no contamination with carbon steel from tools, equipment, and welding. If there is carbon steel contamination, treat the stainless steel with 3 consecutive steps: degreasing or alkaline cleaning, then acidic cleaning, and passivation, according to wonderful ASTM standard A380. We should remember that passive film from chromium 203 is formed only on clean stainless steel surface. In fact, stainless steel might be one of the easiest methods to clean. Never use abrasive scrubbing clothes such as Scotch-Brite pads, as this will scratch the surface of the material. Stainless steel is still stainless, widely considered to be one of the most hygienic materials to use because it's easy to clean and sterilize. It is often the top choice for use in commercial kitchens and medical facilities. The next stainless steel is not magnetic. I remember well when I began working as a corrosion engineer at an oil refinery, and we had to examine the material of heat exchanger tubes. One mechanical engineer took a magnet for the examination. Do engineers correctly identify stainless steel, observing that the magnet is not attracted to the steel surface, and conclude that this steel is stainless because it's not magnetic? But there are 5 types of stainless steels according to crystallographic structure: ferritic, martensitic, austenitic, duplex, and precipitation hardening pH. Only austenitic stainless steel that has not been worked hardened is non-magnetic due to its nickel content. Austenitic stainless steel are used for non-magnetic applications, for example, magnetic resonance imaging, MRI. Other types of stainless steel are magnetic. Therefore, the use of the magnet can be applied only to decide if the steel is austenitic and cannot be used to define ferritic, martensitic, duplex, and PA stainless steels. Let me share my personal no. Austenitic stainless steel is a natural, unusual metastable condition. At room temperatures, ferrite is stable. The addition of nickel and manganese turns austenitic steel stable at room temperatures, but the austenitic can become magnetic when they are deformed. Cold work cold work, and welding are liable to increase the amount of martensite and ferrite respectively in this steel. After deformation, it is well-hardened steel. Try putting a magnet in the corner of a stainless steel sink. Some magnetism can usually be detected. Then, if you open old text books on corrosion 40, 50 years ago, you can read that stainless steel cannot be used in sea water. Really, at the beginning of the 1990s, one engineer at our oil refinery showed me a ball valve made from stainless steel 316 that mounted in the firefighting line and containing Mediterranean sea water, failed because of leakage. This ball valve served only 3 months. Pitting corrosion occurred, you see, exactly according to the textbook. We may see such tables. This is valve. Such tables with maximum chloride content at different temperatures without pitting. However, chloride content in seawater is hundreds more, you see. Another engineer informed me that at his unit, stainless steel 317 tubes have been using for 5 years with cooling water of high salinity without problems. Then another engineer who was a captain of a submarine told me that submarines were made from stainless steel and were used in seawater without any problems. I understood that stainless steel can be used in seawater only under conditions of movement, motion, circulation, that is, under the constant moving of seawater. Pumps, heat exchangers, pipes can be used in contact with moving seawater. During a stop, equipment should be drained and rinsed. About 50 years ago, the pitting resistance equivalent was introduced. Everyone can calculate this number defined by the content of chromium, molybdenum, and nitrogen. Nowadays, stainless steel alloys for seawater must have, under stagnant conditions, of course, have a preamp pitting resistance equivalent more than 40. Usually, they have 6% molybdenum and 0.1% nitrogen. Here, I'd like to show you only that in some books, yes, you may find that critical chloride content maximum is 525 degrees centigrade. But Outokumpu, for example, yes, catalog, you may find 1000 ppm. It is very problematic, yes, to find this maximum chloride content. You should check every time. When I began working for oil refineries in 1990 in Israel, I often heard that stainless steel is expensive. Yes, stainless steel do cost more than carbon steel in dollars per ton, but carbon steel usually need to be painted for corrosion protection. And even if their first install cost is lowest, The advantage disappears on the day they have to be repainted. The cost of stainless in dollars per day for the life of the job will be much lower. Thus, today we use only 15 types of stainless steel, which are widely used, not all 300 types. The next, that stainless steel is not recyclable. Like other types of steel, stainless steel is recycled. It may be one of the most environmentally friendly alloys to produce. At the end of its life, as much as 92% of stainless steel can be reused in new stainless or carbon steel. On average, 60% of any stainless steel product comes from this recycled content. Thus, myth is debunked. And in the I'd like to, we can sum up important considerations to achieve optimum corrosion stainless steel performance are the correct grade choice for the chloride content of the water, avoidance of crevices when possible, but good design, adherence to good fabrication practices, particularly removing weld, heat tints, and prompt drainage after hydro testing. And usually we shall do design, good fabrication, and wonderful maintenance. And now about the mess in designations of stainless steel. I can show you, yes, to compare a different designation for stainless steel 304 in 23 countries. I show you only in 3 countries. In USA, 304, 3304, S30400, and we cannot see here the content of chromium, content of nickel. In European standards, for example, EN 1.4301, where there are no chromium, there are no nickel. But in other standards, yes, you may see 18 chromium and 10 nickel. In China standard, you may see thus 36 names of different designations for only one steel in 23 countries. This is very mass. And can we overcome the confusion and chaos in stainless steel naming? Different institutes, American Iron and Steel Institute, as Society of Automotive Engineers, ASTM, American Society for Testing Materials, European Standards, British Standards, DIN, German Standards. It is, of course, similar to Tower of Babel. Yes, when all the languages were mixed and people tried to find all general language, Esperanto. Yes, but also it did not work. For example, 316L low carbon, 316N with nitrogen, 316 low nitrogen. And now I heard about new steel by company Esperam in France. They invented 316A with low molybdenum but high silicon. Oh, what about this? I'd like to show you that two organizations, ASTM and Society of Automotive Engineers, tried to unify all designations in 1974. This is UNS in America, Unified Numbering System, but it did not lead to the desired results. It came after 50 years. I see that no advance in this problem. Proprietary names, for example, you may open the catalog of Outokumpu, last innovations with stainless steel branding. Outokumpu, Moda, Core, Super, Forte, Ultra, Dura, Therma, Product, Deca. Wow, a mess. Yes, and Moda, for example, all these stainless steel are based on pitting resistance equivalent number. Moda, this is when pre up to 17, core up to from 17 to 22, super highly aggressive environments from 22 to 27, forta duplex and other high strengths from 18 to 43, and ultra extremely aggressive environments pre more than 44. oh, this is poetry. This is poetry, and I think that some poets, yes, work in this company out of Campo. Now, I go to the artificial intelligence. Oh, artificial intelligence can organize order in this mess. Now, a little bit known facts about stainless steel. Stainless steel soap is a piece of stainless steel. Yes, it's not a soap at all. It's a solid piece of stainless steel, you may see, often shaped like a bar, pack, or spoon. Yes, and used to remove strong odors from the skin, especially hands. What odors does it removes? Most commonly garlic, garlic, onion, fish, salami, or sulfur metal-based smells. You know that garlic, for example, contains a lithium, sulfur organic compound. How does it work? The key idea is a surface chemistry, not cleaning. Many persistent foods odors come from sulfur-containing compounds, thiols, and sulfides. When you rub your hands on stainless steel under running water, these sulfur compounds adsorb onto the steel surface or are catalytically neutralized on the chromium-rich passive oxide layers, chromium 2 or 3. No detergent, no foam, or fragrance is involved. Why stainless steel? Stainless steel has a chromium oxide passive film. The same reason it resists corrosion. A surface that can interact with the sulfur compounds, no porosity, it does not retain odors itself. How is it used? Wet hands well and rub the stainless steel soap like a bar of soap for 20-30 seconds. Rinse hands. Odor disappears even without detergent. Is it scientifically proven? The effect is real, especially for sulfur smells. Exact mechanisms, adsorption versus catalytic oxidation, are still debated. It doesn't kill bacteria. It doesn't replace real soap for hygiene. And now my favorite topic, stainless steel in art. You may see a statue, yes, and each year, in each town, in each city, over the world, with beautiful stainless steel made from stainless steel material. This is the center of Jerusalem, yes, the statue of a big mirrored globe by Roy Zinker. This is in Technion in Haifa, Israel Institute of Technology, Haifa, where I deliver lectures. Gideon by Gideon Kretz. And this is Stargaze in Tel Aviv Promenade by Noah Yaffa. Stainless steel is not infallible. It can corrode, especially in harsh chloride environments, e.g., for example, coastal zones. Welds, joints, and crevices are common failure initiations. And I can say you 2.5 years of zero maintenance and exposure to salt spray from the bay have taken their toll, turning the surface of this stainless steel a blotchy brown. You may see brown tea staining. It's caused by deposition of salts on the surface, which was trapped in the crevices of the brushed finish. Regular reactivation by rain has perpetuated a corrosion cycle, leading to quite rapid and severe surface staining. And as the last example, the Gateway Arc with nearly 200-meter tall height monument in St. Louis, Missouri, USA, in America. And then surface corrosion, staining, water leaking joints, you may see before and after only several years. And what are root causes? Root causes failure driver. And what went wrong? Grade selection, 304 inadequate for chloride aerosol. Surface finish, brush surface trapped chlorides. Geometry, hidden crevices plus horizontal water traps. Welding, heat tint incompletely removed. environment. Marine aerosol plus dust plus wet dry cycles and maintenance. No wash down plan. It is very awful. And now I also say about artificial intelligence. Can artificial intelligence help in creating new stainless steel for industrial needs? Yes. Stainless steel alloys can be designed and qualified fast, systematically, economically. And we know many examples now when artificial intelligence help to create new with composition, chromium, nickel, molybdenum, and nitrogen, manganese, copper, etc., processing, solution annealing, cooling grade, cold water, and properties, corrosion resistance, strength, weldability. Does artificial intelligence? Yes, can help in creation new steels according to our needs. Example of artificial intelligence application in creation new stainless steel, predicting pitting resistance equivalent, designing low nickel or nickel-free stainless steel with comparable corrosion resistance as was prepared, invented, and made in France. Yes, I have just showed you, but they did not use artificial intelligence. Optimizing molybdenum and nitrogen trade-offs to avoid sigma phase formation. This is especially relevant for chemical, oil, and gas, oil refining, petrochemical, energetic, water, and architecture. And artificial intelligence can predict pitting potential in chloride solutions, crevice corrosion risk, sensitization susceptibility, Rouge formation tendency, or passive film instability, and stress corrosion cracking likelihood. As artificial intelligence is a fast, smart assistant. I emphasize assistant metallurgist and corrosion engineer, not a replacement. Not a replacement for corrosion science and corrosion engineers. We still need electrochemical testing, long-term exposure trials, metallography, field validation, especially for corrosion. And stainless steel are perfect for artificial intelligence because large big data exists, well-defined property, relationships, and targets during more than 100 years. My conclusion, artificial intelligence can and already does help create new stainless steel, especially where corrosion resistance, cost optimization, and accelerated development are critical. I like this fairy tale by Hans Christian Andersen, yes, from Denmark. He wrote Ugly Duck story. Oh, oh, how great the world is, said the ducklings. Ducklings, small ducklings, still wood. Now they were much more spacious than in a shell. Don't you think that the whole world is here? Said the mother. What is there? It stretches far, far there beyond the garden, beyond the field. But to tell the truth, I have never been there since my childhood. And I can say the world of stainless steel is also endless. And I would like, let me finish with the quote by Albert Einstein when we began 10, 20, 30 minutes ago. Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. It talks about life, hope, and learning. This quote has been a source of huge motivation for students, engineers, scientists. I feel for all people around the world. I emphasize learning from the past and ensuring a better present, which will create hope for tomorrow. And this is the last. Stainless steel, a baby joke. Stainless steel is like a PhD. Expensive, impressive, and everyone assumes it never fails. This is last my slide. What, as usual, yes, we'd like to say in the future, podcast 4, what, according to our to writings of our listeners, how to write a scientific or technical paper, or maybe can we use artificial intelligence in writing a scientific or technical papers, or how to prepare good presentation in PowerPoint correct, or maybe paradoxes and misunderstandings in corrosion science and engineering and electrochemistry. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Monica,
you,
I
dear
finished.
Alec. Thank you so much. It was so amazing. So, for everyone that is looking at the podcast in YouTube, there are like the 4 choices that we wait for to hear from you to see if what will be the next topic that we present, because we always want to get you you seeing, like showing what is going to be the next. Maybe we can stop the sharing, Alec, at this moment.
Oh, yes, of course. Sharing. Yes. Stop sharing. Yes.
There you
Okay.
go. Amazing. Alec, I loved it because, as always, we talked about not only the technical side, but you brought real life examples and you brought science, poetry, painting, art. I have a list. Costs, industry, academia. And you talked about something that we normally say in the podcast quite a bit. And we have written quite a bit of papers on how looking at the holistic solution makes the best result. And you tied into that point today when you said about looking at the design, but also fabrication, operation, maintenance of that asset. So if we wanted to extend the lifespan that we want, it's not only designing, it's not only maintenance, it's not only operation. Like, we have to look through the life cycle of the asset from beginning to end. So I think that was really, really neat. As always, I loved learning so much about history and who invented what. And for once, you presented an example about the soap, stainless steel soap. And I have to tell here, because I always say I am very honest with everyone. My dad used to tell me that, like, when you're preparing or cooking fish, then you take the knife, you put it under the water, and then you wash your hands. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, no, that doesn't work. And I didn't believe it, right? But when I did it and it worked, it was like, oh, good. So yeah, now we know the behind the scenes. I'm gonna call my dad and I'm gonna say, I know the reason why that trick worked. So thank you for that, Alec. Thank you so much. It has been amazing. Like all of the other episodes, I will put a vote so people can let us know what they want to hear in the next one. And then, as always, thank you for being part of this community and for sharing so much knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye to all.
Goodbye.
Thank you to you.
We'll see
Bye.
you in the next episode.
Yes, of course. The next episode.
Thanks for listening to the Materials Business Podcast. Feel free to visit infinitygrowth.ca to see show notes and explore other episodes. If there's someone you think should hear this episode, please share with them. Take care of yourself and have a great rest of your day.